Hi, in today's video I will show you how to hit a drop shot on your forehand and on your backhand. I will show you the correct technique and correct grip and when you should hit it. If you're new to this channel, my name is Patrik Broddfelt, a tennis coach from Norway. The grip you should be using when hitting a drop shot is the continental grip. This grip here. On both sides, on the forehand and on the backhand. The reason why is because you want your racket to be a little bit open so you can get spin on it, underspin on the ball, so it stops on the other side of the net. To be able to hit a perfect drop shot, you need to be able to absorb the ball like this. So you need to practice on your touch and feeling. I did another video last week about that, so I haven't checked it out. I will link it up here for you at the end of the video. Okay, so let's get started. So when you're hitting the drop shot, it's kind of like hitting a volley. Your racket has to be high. And then you move forward and stop. Actually, it's not much hitting with your arms when you're making a drop shot. You're having your hand here, up, your wrist locked, and then you move forward with your body like this. And when you hit, you do like this with your hand. That's all you have to do. Maybe extend a little bit forward. So it's not about hitting with your whole arm. So with the racket, it looks like I'm hitting, but I'm actually just doing the same thing I showed you. Important to have your racket high. You're going from high to low. Same on the backhand. You're starting here like a backhand volley, and then you go high to low. And a little bit of this afterwards, so you get the underspin of a ball. When you're hitting the ball, you should aim lower. If this is the net height, you should aim lower of the net. But on your side, the ball should be at the highest, and then it goes down over the net. So high on this side, on your side, and it's going down. A perfect drop shot will bounce at least 3 times in the service box before it goes over the service line. And actually, you should hit most of them cross court. It's much easier to hit a drop shot cross court than down the line. So the first drill I would do to just get the feeling of it is hitting with backspin, so it bounces back to you like this. So you get the feeling of hitting with backspin. You can do the same on the backhand. So you get the feeling of having a backspin of a ball. You see, it bounces back to me. Practice on that first. The second drill is to have a partner or a coach feeding your balls. You want to start in your service grip, continental grip. Start with a racket high, and then you go like this. So as you can see, I bring my foot to where I want to aim. So if I'm hitting down the line, my toes go this way. If I want to hit the cross court, I will go more like this. So down the line, my toes pointing forward. Cross court, my right toes pointing that direction. So when you're doing this drill, you want to stand inside the baseline. You never want to hit drop shots back here, because then it's taking too long time and your opponent will run up the ball. So the perfect time is when you're inside the baseline. Inside the baseline, I want to aim cross court now, holding my racket high, and I go. So it would be like this. Don't want to have big swings and going like this, because then it will go too far and all over the place. it's like a volley. You want to dampening the ball, soft hands dampening the ball, or absorbing the ball. My racket will actually go a little bit backwards when I hit. I'll show you some balls from the side as well. So you're starting here, you go up and hit. Starting here, making sure your racket is high. This is what it would look like from behind. Racket high, and you're going racket high, and you're going like this. So if you want to be doing like Alcaraz, you will do it on the backhand side and hitting inside out drop shot. That's actually my favorite as well. So you're running around here. So make sure you're semi-open with your feet, and you go like this. That's better. So it's the same, except you're doing a little bit this way when you're inside out. So that's why I get the side spin on ball, because I'm hitting here and I'm going like this. And that's why the ball bounces out. So all I'm doing is holding like a volley, and I'm doing this with my wrist. So make sure when you are hitting the drop shot, you want to make contact waist height, chest height. It's really difficult to hit drop shots down here, because then you have to lift the ball up. Then you have to go more like high, low, high. You can still do it, but it's more difficult that way. So it's much easier to be here. When you're mastering the drop shot from this position, what you should do then is trying to disguise it. So you're having your normal forehand like this. And at this point here, what you want to do then is changing your grip into a continental. That's the tricky part. So you have a normal forehand, and you're changing the grip to the continental. You go in here and drop. So that's more advanced. You should always start practicing on this one. When you can control that one, try to disguise it by having full swing and in this position, changing a grip into the continental, and you go forward. So that's how you hit a forehand drop shot. Let's talk about the backhand. So you will have the same grip on the backhand, the continental grip. And you should start like a backhand volley in this position, elbow up, pointing back, and going forward and drop. So here, stepping in sideways and drop. So you be in a forehand volley, backhand volley position, like this, elbow up, and sideways, step in, contact, and finish. So when you finish here, you want to go a little bit like this. Same if I'm hitting the cross court. I want to go around a little bit. For me, the forehand volley is easier than backhand volley, even though I'm playing with one hand and have a good slice, but I like the backhand, the forehand better. So try to hit cross court and getting outside. If I'm very close to the inside the service line in the service box, then you should go down the line because it's the shortest way and it's easier. But back here, inside the baseline, cross court is the best option. So being in the volley position, contact, and like this. So it's not much movement in your arm, it's just here, block, absorb, and going this way to get the backspin. So Djokovic is actually very good at this. So he has his two hands grip and faking it like this and going there, and then he disguises it. So he's holding his two hands backhand, going forward, releases, and makes this drop shot. It's really hard to see when he does it because he waits to the last second. And if you have a one-hander, you want to be in this position, and then you change and going in. Same as in the forehand, you're up here, change, and going inside and drop. Or you can be in a backhand slice position, and there, stop, and going this way. But somehow it's easier for the opponent to read if you're starting in a backhand slice. So try to be in your normal backhand, if it's one-handed or two-handed, and then release. Yes, you can practice this by yourself, like I did, feeding balls like this and hitting. You can use the wall. Yes, so this is the best wall I found. So what you want to do is self-feed your ball quite hard because you want to practice on absorbing the ball. So you're feeding, getting up to position and drop. Feeding and drop. Feeding and drop. And you can do the same on the backhand. When you're hitting a drop shot, make sure you're standing inside the baseline. You don't want to hit drop shots back here because then it takes too long to get over to net and your opponent will run it up and pass you. So make sure you're standing inside your baseline. That's rule number one. So when do you want to do it? Well, you want to make sure you have pushed your opponent back the baseline. So the further back they're standing here, perfect time to implement a drop shot. When you're hitting that drop shot, make sure you fall up to the net if you're hitting a good drop shot. So you're hitting a drop shot inside, then follow up towards the net, or standing somewhere around here. So you cover the line, you cover the drop shot, and you can take a deep one here as well. So move forward when hitting your drop shot. Make sure you don't overuse your drop shot. Don't hit it too often. Hit it 3 times a set, not more. But if you're older, like me, for example, it's really good to hit drop shots because as we get older, it's harder for us to move forward and cover that ball. It's much easier to move to the side and take a ball out here than it is to move forward. But if you're a high competition player, don't hit it too often. But as we get older, 50, 60, 70, and so on, hit more drop shots. It's a really good weapon. So start to practice on your drop shots. And make sure you use them at the correct time. Be inside your baseline. Make sure your opponent is behind their baseline. That's the perfect time to hit the drop shot. Or if your opponent hit a short ball, you had to run up, you're seeing your opponent still standing behind the baseline, hit a drop shot. That's the perfect time to hit the drop shot. Hit that one down the line, and once you're hitting back here, hit them cross court. That's the easiest option. So if you're standing closer to the net, hit them down the line, then it goes faster over the net. But back here, it's harder to hit them down the line. It's much easier to hit them cross court.